Welcome anyone to my YouTube channel. This is Everett, aka Two Beasts to Kill You, aka the Beast with the Least. And my God, have we had a great week when it comes to Fanboy Meltdown and everything. But before we get into all that, let's hit that intro. All right. So, if you'd have told me a year ago that Sony fanboys would absolutely melt down the way they're melting down upon even just the thought of PlayStation going third party, I would have told you that makes so much sense. Yes, I know. You probably thought I was going the other way, but no, this makes complete sense because, man, are they a different breed when it comes to the fanboys. I mean, you have the Xbox fanboys who are always kind of in denial. You have the Nintendo fanboys who are always just lapping up everything no matter what and have to defend Nintendo. And then you have the Sony fanboys who just always felt they were superior, even though, you know, PC exists, so, and, you know how they are, and they just have to attack everybody. So, you know, every fanboy group has its thing. And, they're all stupid anyway, so yeah. But this past week, ever since the job listing for the multi-platform director for PlayStation came out, it has been, what do the kids say? A chef's kiss? Mwah! Just great to watch. Yeah. So there's two things that I want to talk about in this video because they do go hand in hand a bit. Recently, Matt Piscatella, he's a gaming analyst and all that stuff, he had his report on the quarter 2 2025 top 10 best-selling games for just PlayStation. There's an Xbox one, but that doesn't matter. The PlayStation one is what we're going to focus on. And it's the top 10 selling games so far for, the months of April through July. And there's some interesting data, to say the least. So I'll go in order. Elden Ring Night Reign was number 1. Makes sense. It's a great game. I love it. I have my review up on the channel. After that is Forza Horizon 5. Then Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered, MLB The Show 25, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Doom the Dark Ages, Death Stranding 2, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, Minecraft, and Assassin's Creed Shadows. So, I should have the picture up of the top 10 list. If you notice something, then no, that's not your eyes deceiving you. 6 of the top 10 are Microsoft publisher. Now, I already know, yes, Indiana Jones, Doom, Call of Duty, these games, regardless, would have been on PlayStation and probably even charted the way they charted. To me, that isn't why I care about them being on the list, or anyone should care anyways, really, or why it even matters. What matters is that Microsoft is making a lot of money just selling games on the competing console, the competing platform, and obviously they're going to be selling stuff on, or releasing games on the Switch at some point. Probably not, the most high-end stuff, but, maybe you might get a Grounded on there and stuff like that. Maybe the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered. I kind of doubt that one, maybe. Maybe the next Call of Duty. Who knows? And this also came out with Microsoft releasing their, financial report for so far of the quarter and year and all that stuff. Game Pass, $5 billion in revenue. So I obviously you hear a lot of like Game Pass is not profitable and it's unsustainable. 5 billion in revenue is uh, not something to scoff at. Their game revenue is up 10%. Their content and services are up 13%. So now their hardware sales are down 22%. But I mean, you know, they clearly don't care about that. Like Microsoft has pivoted away from console being. I mean, you know, console sales actually, anyways, never really mattered because that's not where companies make their money. Like, the publishers don't make their money on console sales. As much as they would like to, and even though they're selling their consoles at a high price and raising the price, they don't really make their money on it. They have to try and get some of their investment back on that. They have to have some return on it, but they make their money on selling games, which is why I'm bringing up Microsoft having 6 of the top 10 spots on PlayStation, because with, you know, their game revenue and their content and services up as much as they are, them having 5 billion in revenue in Game Pass, they're making a lot of money. And with the recent news of PlayStation having a multi-platform director, it doesn't take a rocket surgeon to like realize that Sony's looking at this and saying, you know what, hey, we like money, let's get in on this a little bit, you know. And that's why I said, again, I've said this before, I don't think it's going to be right away. I don't believe that. But I do think in about 2 to 3 years time, we're going to see PlayStation games day and date on Xbox, because Xbox is still going to release consoles. Contrary to Sony fanboys, you know, popular belief, they're still releasing consoles. They're going to have their Xbox Ally this year. Whether they, you know, there's reports they might not do their own actual handheld, but they've already said they're doing a new or next gen console. So, like, you know, maybe yes, that could be it. They might not do another one, but I also don't see them not, you know, I don't see them leaving the console space anytime soon, if at all, because of Game Pass. Like, with $5 billion in revenue from Game Pass, like, you'd be, regardless of, oh, you know, they only sold 30 million Xbox Series XS consoles, you know, and I don't remember the numbers for Xbox One, you know, so, yeah, they're not selling as much as the PlayStation, but, you know, how many of those people that own a console are on Game Pass? And obviously, you know, you have people on PC that are on Game Pass, but I don't think that they're just going to rely on PC people having Game Pass. I don't think Sony or Nintendo are going to allow Game Pass on their consoles, you know, anytime soon, you know, because why would they? They make, I believe it's 30% on a game sold, you know, so a game sells for $70, they make about, what is that, $21, you know, instead of just like, oh, well, if you have Game Pass, you know, doesn't that, I don't think Sony would make any money if, oh, I connect my Game Pass account through PlayStation. Maybe they make some money through having to maybe subscribe through their console or something. I don't know. But I just, you know, it doesn't make sense for them to do that. Not only that, gaming as a, you know, in general, has gotten so much more expensive because of the rising costs of making games. So, you know, to me, it's just a cacophony of things that, like, it's gotten so expensive to make games, and they don't make as much, you know, on selling consoles. They make, you know, they would make more selling games, you know, and I know, you know, you're going to get the fanboys who are like, but it's only 30 million people. If you get 2 million people to buy a game, whether it's God of War, Last of Us, Uncharted, Horizon, whatever it is, you get 2 million people on that console to buy a game. You know, that's what, at $70 a piece. That's my math. I'm doing quick math here, and I'm probably off because I'm doing it. It's about 140 million. Before all that other stuff, and then they make 70% of that. I'm not going to do all the math, but you know what I mean. It's still enough money to warrant, like, okay. And honestly, I don't think it would be just 2 million people. I think regardless of whether you're a fanboy of a console or not, that Sony still puts out good enough games. Maybe you don't like certain games, but like they still put out enough games that and their games are still received well enough that I'd say there's still a good 5 million of that 30 million that would buy a Sony published game, a PlayStation published game. So yeah, it just makes sense. And now that brings me to the other point, or the other thing I want to talk about was the meltdown of the PlayStation faithful. Because it doesn't matter that you are a fanboy of something. Whether, like me, I'm more of a fan of Xbox. I wouldn't consider myself a fanboy. If you consider me that, that's fine. I do like to think I'm a little bit more level-headed. But yeah, whether you're an Xbox fanboy, PlayStation fanboy, Nintendo fanboy, or just you enjoy gaming, doesn't matter. These companies don't care about us more than we are a number. I know that's a very cynical thing to have, the mindset to have or whatever. But hey, I'm old, so duh. Still, we should be having this in our head. Now, obviously, not everyone's going to have that mindset, and some might take this a little bit more personally than others. So, yeah. A thing that's been happening is, some of the PlayStation faithful have been emailing Sony, telling them, not to, not to become a third party publisher. And, I don't understand why they would think that's a good idea. How that doesn't make them look maybe a little psychotic. Yeah, it's just it's funny to me, but it's kind of sad. Anyways, actually, Sony did respond apparently to at least one. I don't know if they sent this out to, more than one, but I know at least there is a response. And I'll put up part of it. Or, I'll put a screenshot of what they said. So part of the response is, while we continue to explore new ways to grow and evolve the gaming ecosystem, we are committed to preserving the unique identity that PlayStation represents. As we have in the past, we will always listen to feedback from our community, including valued players like you, and ensure that our decisions are aligned with the experiences you expect from PlayStation. Now, I've seen, some of the fanboys take this as, well, this means they're not actually going to go third party. No, that's not what this means. It's corporate speak for, like, hey, we're still going to give you games. That's all it is. Again, we are not friends to these corporations. They don't care about us. They only care about the revenue they can make off of us. So, yes, they're going to say certain things to make sure that their fan base is happy, the consumer is happy. But in the end, if they can make more money by just doing by going third party. They're going to do it. And even with this response, it says, I mean, even some of it is, while we continue to explore new ways to grow and evolve the gaming ecosystem. So yes, they are actively looking at ways to make more money selling their games. And yes, it says right here, we are committed to preserving the unique identity that PlayStation represents. To them, that doesn't mean, exclusives. That means great games, great single-player story-driven games, probably. Because they have talked about that. You know, guys like Herman Hulst have said that was something that they do, is these story-driven single-player games, you know, that are practically one of a kind. Even though there's obviously a template that we'll say for games. And yes, as we have in the past, we always listen to feedback. They have to say that. They have to say that they listen to feedback from their community. If they say, like, we're not going to listen to you, that's not going to go over well. You know, and ensure that our decisions are aligned with the experiences you expect from PlayStation. Again, experiences you expect, they are saying these types of games, story-driven, narrative-driven, single-player games. That's what they're saying. So all of this, you know, this 16-minute rant that I'm looking at now is to just say, if any, you know, fanboy is watching this video, you know, and I know you don't like me saying that, but, you know, calling you a fanboy, whatever, it is what it is. It's okay. We're all fans, and, you know, some more so than others. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy gaming. Them making more money is only a good thing. You know why Microsoft wanted to do this? You know, become third party? Because they want to make money, but also to continue making money. And it also, in turn, feeds into us as we continue getting good games. Same thing's going to happen with Sony. They want to make more money, but that also, in turn, helps with us getting more games, and hopefully good games, obviously. And that's not a bad thing. It's never a bad thing. You know? And honestly, too, really take a look. I know this is said a lot, you know, but what does a guy like, say, my brother, who doesn't like PlayStation, he's more of an Xbox guy, and he would rather play on Xbox. If he can play God of War, Uncharted, Last of Us, whatever it is, on his Xbox, how does that hurt you? It doesn't. And not only that, that's a sale for PlayStation for them to keep continuing games that you want. So we could keep getting more Intergalactics, more God of Wars, more Horizons, more all of that. Maybe they might decide to bring out a new Twisted Metal. Maybe we'll get, I mean, this is me being more hopeful. Maybe we'll get another Siphon Filter. You know, it only can end up positive if you just accept it. But yeah, I don't know. Alright. Once again, if you like what I do on this channel, like, comment, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Trying to get to that 1,000 subscriber goal. But yes, I've been Everett, and until next time, I'll catch you later.